In my opinion, and I will give you a clear example as to why I strongly believe that air ventilation, good air circulation is absolutely critical in the COVID virus spread. Hi, my name is Aygün Şahin, and in this channel I do lots of videos about everything regarding life, science, politics, finance, psychology, sociology, history, everything a person needs to know and understand about life. This will empower a person, this will empower people, and empowered people will only bring good to this world as it deserves. Did in our cancer channel, our cancer nonprofits channel, a lot of videos, educational videos about COVID, coronavirus, SARS-CoV-2 since March 1st, 2020. For 2 years now, we are educating the public worldwide about coronavirus and COVID. So for the last 2 years, I have not talked about my experience. I started to talk about it because there is something called long COVID. For the last 2 years, I strongly believe that I was infected with the pre-COVID virus that was around in December 2018 and January 2019 in Europe. And that was a very strange virus. A very unusual, strange virus, and I got infected in early January 2019 overseas in Europe. And I was hospitalized several times. I got oxygen, which I never got in my entire life. I believe that I literally will die. That was my end. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't breathe to my lungs, I couldn't breathe to my nose, I couldn't speak, I couldn't scream for help, everything was shut down, all my airways were shut down. I coughed like crazy for 4 weeks. For 4 weeks. And that virus later on in April 2019 came to the US, and in April, May, around that time, please go back and remember there was a strange virus around, and that virus was first in Europe, and I got infected with that virus, and there was many hospitalization. I decided that I will do a documentary about this because now what I am experiencing since then for 2 years now, and it grows exponentially. The symptoms, which now fits perfectly into long COVID symptoms, which is horrible. So it is like as if my body eats itself up. And as we know with COVID, it's causing a lot of autoimmune types of symptoms, which is, in my case, that's exactly how I feel. And that's exactly what the symptoms are. Also neurological symptoms, which a new paper came out where they looked into the long COVID effects in the brain. And I will definitely dive deeper into that, and we'll make another video about this because it's so important, because I am having a lot of neurological as well as immunological issues since then. And now we know, in my opinion, now I know it's because it was a pre-COVID virus, because the symptoms which people now experiencing as a long COVID, I have that before. I have the exact same symptoms but before, for the last 2 years now. And it's getting worse, and that's why I would like to share in this video why I believe that air ventilation and good air circulation and opening the windows and good airflow is critical, absolutely critical in the spread of the virus, in stopping the spread of the virus. Here's why. When I got infected, it was the second day of January 2019. I went there to visit my family in two countries. I was in Germany and in Turkey. So I first flew to Istanbul. In the airport, it was still the former Atatürk airport in 2019. So I flew first day in December. It was like 2 days before New Year's Eve. I had to wait in the airport to have a flight to Germany. From Boston, I flew directly to Istanbul, wait there for, I think it was 1.5 hours or maybe 2 hours or so. I don't remember like the layover. And then I flew to Germany. And then after the New Year's Eve, the second day on January 2nd, I believe in 2019, I flew back to Istanbul. And the moment I landed and came to my parents' house, my nose started to run, and that lasted for 4 weeks. For 4 weeks, I was in bed. 4 weeks. That was supposed to be my vacation. But I ended up in the hospital several times, so I almost died. So after Istanbul, when I had a layover, when I was waiting in the airport was unusually hot. It was so in a sticky air, because as a biologist, if I am in the room, a sticky air, I absolutely get scared of that and get out of that air, of that indoors environment, because I know that's the environment for germs. That's how we incubate germs, right? In the lab. So I absolutely need fresh air, fresh all the time. So that airport was unusually hot, because I guess in Turkey they turn on the heat so much in winter. Is just so crazy, especially for me in Boston. I mean, I love warm, but it was, even for me, it was so hot. It was too hot. When I landed, going through all the security and all the border processes, I became so hot. I went to the bathroom and I took all the layers off. I was red like a tomato. I was so hot. It was just so warm. And I was waiting. There was a cafe, and I was waiting for my flight to Germany. And then there was a gentleman next to me, so we started to talk, and he said, "Oh, this is so hot in here." I said, "Isn't it?" "Yes, exactly. It's just, why is it so hot? I mean, look at me. I'm so warm, and I had to take off everything. It's just so hot in here." I was literally sitting with a t-shirt. He's like, "Yeah, I don't understand. Why is it so hot in here?" And this gentleman was Turkish, so he is, I guess, used to such a warm, but even for him, it was way too hot. And the air was so like sticky. It was no air circulation. So when I flew to Germany, the next day or so, the second day, I started to have like this throat, there was like this tingling feelings inside of my throat, and I was like, oh God. But it was like just normal. In Boston, I never get the flu, so it was just like a feeling of starting to have a cold kind of feeling. It wasn't such a big deal. So it was latent, it was stable, it wasn't doing much to me. It was just like this tingling in my throat. That's it. And there was no outbreak, no nothing. Only the time when I flew back on the 2nd of January, I believe, in 2019, then my nose immediately started to run, and then all the cough and everything started. So the 4 weeks of me being at home in my parents' house, in bed, coughing like crazy, hospitalized several times, and also getting the oxygen. So I was at home in bed all the time because I couldn't breathe. In January, in this cold, ice cold weather, For 4 weeks, we had to open the windows because I just couldn't breathe. I just couldn't breathe. I felt so bad because it is cold, it is freezing, and we had to really almost like shut down the heat because I just cannot breathe. I had to have this fresh air, and the windows were open all the time. So for 4 weeks I was sleeping in an ice cold room, windows open, because I shut the door because I didn't want the entire home to get so cold. But regardless, the heat was turned down so low, almost shut off, and I felt bad. But the entire home was constantly open. The windows were open. It was constantly fresh air. And for 4 weeks, I did not infect neither my mother nor my father. They're both above 70 years old, both. And I have not infected them, even if I was hospitalized. So what happened then was, I think in the second or third week or so, I was hospitalized in the night, and then I went to the hospital in the ER to get oxygen, or just like they open my lungs or whatever they're supposed to do because I can't breathe. So my mom and dad, they both came with me. My dad stayed outside when they took me in. My mother came with me inside to the area, to the room where they ventilate everybody. The hospital was full of people. That's why I want this to be investigated, because the hospital was crowded with people in ventilators. So people were getting oxygen. When we entered into that sticky air room, it was almost like a basement. And we were walking through the corridors in the backside or something. There was like this really with low ceiling, almost basement type rooms, 2 rooms. One you enter was like a waiting area, and then the other inside of that, just connected, no doors, just connected. The other side of that another room was the people who got ventilated and who got oxygen. That was there in that room. So my mother was staying in this room. The air was like so not ventilated, so sticky and hot, and like literally incubation for germs. I was like, oh my God, it is horrible, like this air in here. So it was very absolutely not ventilated hospital basement type rooms. When we entered that room, I told my mother, please stay outside. Don't come in here. Stay outside. The air is really very, very bad and not ventilated. It's not fresh air. So please, there's so many sick people here. Stay outside. Don't come in here. And my mother, as she always is, very giving, very loving and caring. So she said, no, I will be staying right here and we're watching you. She sat in that waiting type area where there were other also patients waiting to get ventilated, and I was over there, so she was able to see me. And I told her then cover your mouth or something, but because the air is very, very bad, it's not fresh at all. While I was getting the round of ventilation, get oxygen, she was waiting in that horrible room. Once we came back home, the next or the second day or so, she got sick too. It didn't affect her as much as it did affect me, but she got infected after that hospital visit. For me, being there for weeks in a room together with my parents, which I didn't infect anyone, and still, because we ventilated the room, Neither of us did infect my dad at home. Neither of us. Because we had constantly open windows, constantly fresh air. As you know, fresh air is the key for fighting viral infections like flu, right? So coronavirus sticks in the air, stays in the air as an airborne for hours. That's why the masks are so critical, right? Because indoors, the airborne coronavirus can stick in the air and float around in the air for hours. So if you are in a store, when you walk in, and I give you examples, Dollar Tree, for example, here in Boston, Dollar Tree, zero ventilation, zero, nothing, nada, nothing, zero air ventilation. When you walk in, like, and if you feel like there's this kind of air, hot and like not fresh, even with double mask, you feel it. Get out. Don't go inside. Don't stay in there. Or if it's urgent, just go take it, buy it quick, out, in and out, quick, quick, quick. Don't stay there. Don't talk with people. Stay out of these not ventilated indoors areas. Absolutely fresh air is the key. I tell you, this is what happened. I have the proof. Both of my elderly parents, I did not infect them in the same home for weeks with severe symptoms. And my mother, after she went to the hospital, stood in this ridiculously not ventilated room, she got sick after that. She was infected then. And when we came home for another week or so, we did not still infect my dad at home. So this is absolutely critical in schools, airports, airplanes, stores. Another example, Goodwill here in Boston, absolutely horrific. Once you walk in, I mean, I wanted to just quickly walk in to look for something. Opened the door, one step, I was like, I went out immediately. So if you are in those rooms, get out, open the window all the time, constantly, fresh air. So important. So please, stores, schools, companies, please, investing in good airflow, good air ventilation systems is critical to stop the spread of this virus. Absolutely critical. Please don't forget that. Airborne coronavirus can stay in the air for a few hours. So if you walk into a store, if you work in an environment like that, open the windows or talk with your company managers or the upper level to really ensure that there's this good air ventilation, air circulation. And don't talk in these rooms. Go in and out quickly. Don't stay for hours in these rooms. Very critical. Very critical. I tell you, this is my experience, and this is like this 100% fits with the science of it. 100%. 100% it fits with the science. So I hope this video serves you as an example what you can do, what the schools and the upper managements and the officials need to focus on. Good air ventilation is the key, and I'm the live example of it. So I hope this was helpful to you. If you like this video, please give us a like and please share this with everybody. This is so critical. Talk with your representatives, talk with your bosses, with your local government to make sure check their local stores for good air ventilation. Absolutely critical. I do this all the time. And thankfully in my neighborhood, my city, they are taking good care of it. I still have to now warn them about this, what I saw over the weekend about this terrible air ventilation. So and I will talk with them about that. So please share this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and please like this video and comment down below what is your experience. And please, I would like to know if you had also this pre-COVID virus. I will do a documentary about that, my experience. I will talk more about that. So critical. I will have other videos. I'm planning to do more long COVID videos too, symptoms and other scientific information that came out recently. So stay tuned and please give me time, because fatigue is also one of the biggest symptoms that I'm experiencing, along with people who experience the long COVID symptoms. Please give me some time. I'm really fighting through. Yeah, so definitely I will do all of this, really try to be helpful, and my experience should really help everyone to get this right. And I hope people will listen, and if you share this video, it will help 1, 2, 3 and maybe even more people. Okay, thank you so much, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye, take care.